There have been thousands and thousands of studies conducted on creatine, proving that creatine does help boost and enhance muscle growth performance. But science also reveals there's a specific way to use it to maximize your performance and get these amazing results while saving your money. So in this video today, I'm going to provide you guys with 4 steps on how to take creatine to get the maximum results and finally build that dream physique so you guys can stop taking steroids. Let's get straight into it.
Seriously? Man, makes me wonder what else I don't know.
So first of all, let's discuss creatine. Creatine is a natural energy source that we as humans naturally produce. And then from there, we use creatine to help us perform exercise such as sprints and weight training in the first 10 seconds of that activity. So obviously, if you're doing a sprint, that can be anywhere from 4 seconds to 20 seconds. So we use creatine as an energy source for the first 10 seconds, or even when we're doing big lifts, when we have heavy squats, or when we have heavy bench press, that's what we're going to use in the first 10 seconds to really help get the weight off of our body. And that's going to allow us to really rip the muscles up and develop bigger muscles. So now whenever we supplement with creatine and we take creatine supplements, we can increase our creatine levels by 30%, allowing us to have a major increase in muscle growth. So by having more creatine stored in our system, that's going to increase our strength, which is ultimately going to increase our muscle growth and development. That's why creatine has been such a proven supplement that's been taken for years. Believe it or not, creatine is actually one of the most researched supplements out there. So let's get into the first step. Step 1, you need to actually understand what type of creatine supplement you need to be taking, because there are so many different creatine replicas out there, so it's important to know which one you specifically need to really help you get your muscle growth and development. If you go inside any vitamin or supplement store, you'll quickly realize that they have a bunch of creatine samples to pick from, and it can honestly be kind of confusing. Luckily, there was a study conducted in 2021 where they tested and did research on 8 different types of creatine sources. As you can see in the chart, there were several different prices. Creatine monohydrate was around 19 cents and buffer creatine at about $1.51. So here's the thing, of the samples selected, all 8 creatine sources provide muscle growth. However, you have several companies that are boosting the price of their creatine, tricking you all into buying more expensive creatine when they all have the same effect. Now, I'm not saying just to get your creatine from anywhere, because yes, some of it can be crap. But what I am saying is when you do go to the store, an easy indicator to tell whether the creatine that you're taking is appropriate is looking at the label. If the one single ingredient is creatine monohydrate, then that's sufficient. But if you're seeing creatine, there's a bunch of different ingredients in there, then that's probably junk. But to save you guys the trouble, make sure you guys click the link below, check out Legion Athletics, where you guys can purchase the best creatine, the creatine that I take, and that's Legion Creatine Monohydrate. And because you guys are watching this video, use the code word CHIEF, you'll get 20% off. And they just don't have creatine, they also have protein shakes, and they also have the amazing cookie dough bars and cereal, so that way you guys can have nice treats and still get that protein intake in to really help you build that muscle. So let's get to step 2. So in step 2, you want to consider how much creatine is enough. There is a lower limit that you want to meet. For example, one study on female swimmers showed that 2 grams of creatine for 6 months failed to improve their performance, as well as 1 gram of creatine limited muscle growth. However, the 5-gram daily dose of creatine may be overkill. Illustrating this is a 2018 paper that compared the effect of supplement creatine with either 3 to 5 grams daily use. When compared to the placebo, both groups, researchers suggest that 3 grams is sufficient enough. And this makes complete sense, because whenever I start running low on creatine, I always start just cutting my dosage in half to make sure I have enough to last me until I can get another order from Legion Supplements. So yes, guys, I've definitely still maintained my results and even made gains in the gym when I was running low, and I cut my dosage down to 3 grams a day just to extend the length of period that I had the supplement. So you guys don't have to do 5 grams daily. You can save your money and just do 3 grams. That way that's gonna allow you to get a lot more servings out of the bottle. According to research, you can take 3 grams of creatine daily and still get the same results. So it's okay to limit your dosage. Maybe when you first get started taking creatine, you can conduct the loading phase. And all loading phases is when you're taking 20 to 25 grams of creatine daily for 5 to 7 days. Personally, I don't like that, because it could be a lot on my stomach, so I personally just like to put that much powder in. So I just prefer to take the regular 3 to 5 grams of creatine on a daily basis until it loads in. But for some of you who are looking for fast results, then you can do that in the loading phase. But that's going to bring us to our next step, step 3. So when you first start taking creatine, it's important to discuss whether you're going to do the loading phase, which I just mentioned earlier, or you're going to do the daily dose phase. So for those of you guys, everyone wants results super fast, and the creatine takes a long time to really enter your system and fully saturate inside of your system and for your creatine levels to increase. So it may take 3 to 4 weeks. So what some people do is they do the loading phase where they take 20 to 25 grams of creatine on a daily basis for 5 to 7 days. However, if you're not looking for super fast results and you want to take your time and progress with it, you can do a daily dose of 3 to 5 grams. I prefer to take my time and do a daily dose because I want to stay lean. Sometimes when you're loading in 20 to 25 grams, it's going to have a great rotor retention rate, and that's going to increase your body fat percentage. So I want to stay as lean as possible, so I prefer the daily limit so I don't gain too much body fat. However, by doing the loading phase, you will notice a bigger increase in your strength size rather quickly. So you just have to be mindful of what preference you prefer and how fast you want your results to come. So you have to remember, implementing a loading phase may really start to affect your digestive system, and it makes you for me, when I've done the loading phase, I've had a lot of nausea, so that's why I try to avoid it. You can space it out and take 5, 5, 5, 5 until you get to 20 to 25 grams a day. But be mindful, and taking the 3 grams daily will still get you there in 3 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks, you will still get to where you want to get to, where your muscles will start to hold that water, and you'll have extra energy to lift heavier weights, and you'll feel a lot more saturated. Your creatine levels will increase. So keep in mind that taking the 3 to 5 grams daily will still get you there. Your creatine levels will increase in 3 to 4 weeks. So there's no need to rush it. But honestly, pick your poison when it comes to the loading or daily dosage amount. It's important to make sure that you focus on when to actually take creatine and what to take it with, bringing us to our 4th and final step. Let's get straight into it. So guys, listen, if you guys want amazing results, if you guys want to go in the gym and bench 1,000 pounds and squat 1,000 pounds, you want to make sure that you take creatine as a pre-workout with grapefruit. It's going to give you an immediate burst of energy. Listen, y'all, that's a bunch of cap, man. Stop listening to everything you hear. You guys are so gullible. Listen, man, creatine doesn't have an immediate effect, meaning that taking it as a pre-workout is not going to give you some burst of energy, okay? That's why we have the loading phase and the daily dosage phase to really increase your creatine levels by 30% over time. In fact, one study found a 1.7 increase in lean muscle mass taking creatine post-workout, but there's not a ton of evidence on this particular topic. However, there is some evidence that taking creatine with carbs and protein will increase your saturation levels, but this only really makes a difference during the initial saturation loading phase. You honestly just want to make sure you're taking creatine every day at a consistent time. So if you take it, after the gym, after your post-workout, every morning at 7 a.m., just try to stick to that time if you lift at 5 a.m. So just find a consistent time where you can take creatine every single day and stay consistent with that and load it in, and you'll be perfectly fine. But with that being said, and discussing morning workouts, there is a chance that caffeine can actually hinder the performance of the creatine supplement when you mix them together. Illustrated by a recent 2021 paper by Dr. Eric Trexler, within it took the past 5 studies on creatine and caffeine and found that in 4 of the 5 studies, creatine alone was sufficient in a boost of lean muscle growth and performance. However, when the 5 studies were tested with caffeine equivalent to 2 to 3 cups a day along with creatine, muscle benefits now failed. So listen guys, caffeine relaxes our muscles while creatine decreases muscle relaxation time. So they kind of work against each other. So something that I would highly recommend is only taking caffeine when you need it. So I know that can be hard for some of you who take pre-workout every single day and you need your coffee. I get it. I've challenged myself where, I don't take pre-workout every single time I work out. I just take it on days when I'm feeling really, really tired. But I know that can be really challenging for a lot of you. So something I recommend that's a lot more suitable is just not mixing your caffeine and creatine together. Like, you shouldn't be taking them at the exact same time. So listen guys, I know I just said a lot, but here are the key takeaways. When you first start taking creatine, you want to make sure that you either go through a loading phase or through a daily dose phase. I prefer the daily dose phase because that way you won't see a large increase in body fat percentage. When you do the loading phase, your creatine levels are going to shoot up, and yes, your strength will go up, but your weight will also go up. So I like to keep my body fat percentage as low as possible. So that's why I prefer just doing the daily dose, so I can see a gradual increase, so I can almost do like a lean bulk. And then on top of that, after you're done doing the loading phase, or whether you do the daily dose, all you need to consume is 3 grams of creatine on a daily basis. And that's going to save you a lot of your money, because if you look at the nutrient facts, if you look at the serving size, they're going to tell you to do 5 grams, but you can simply do 2 to 3 grams, and that's going to last you 1 month to 2 months longer, so you can have more money in your pocket. And lastly, guys, you're gonna monitor your progress. After 3 to 4 weeks, if your muscles don't appear more dense and fuller and your strength hasn't increased and your performance hasn't went up, then that means that the creatine supplement may not be working for you, so there's no need to keep taking it. But listen, if you guys are new to fitness and you guys don't know where to go to exactly get the right supplement, I'm gonna make it really easy for you guys. Use the code word CHIEF and you guys can purchase the Legion Creatine Monohydrate in the link below. Click the Legion Athletics. You guys will get 20% off. They have a buy one, get one 50% off. I also recommend checking out their protein and their protein cookie dough bars. And lastly, the last message I want to leave you guys with is, listen, it's great to take all these supplements. If you guys need a weekly workout plan, or if you guys need a coach that can hold you guys accountable on a daily basis, click the link below and sign up for my Patreon. That way we can set up one-on-one coaching where I can coach you every single day to make sure you know exactly what you need to do whenever you're going to the gym. Man, I'm in the gym sometimes 45 minutes and I'm out. I know exactly what I need to do to really help build my strength and get stronger and get the best results. So make sure you guys tap in with the Patreon and use the code word CHIEF to get 20% off all creatine supplements, man. Listen, man, as usual, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for making it this far in the video. Hit the notification button so you guys can see when videos are coming out. I drop videos on Thursday and Sunday, as well as go live almost every day. So make sure y'all tap and hit that notification button. CP Nation, we out. Yes, sir.